If you've been on social media the past week or two, the person behind me needs no introduction. That is, of course, Marcellus Williams, who was executed on September 24th, 2024, needless to say, for crimes which he allegedly committed in the 90s. But the reason I'm talking about this is not specifically to do with the death penalty, which you guys know I've talked about quite a few times on different other topics, but the social reaction to the case, the execution, and his alleged innocence. In the kind of post Me Too era we're in now, the case is being treated somehow maybe a bit differently. And what I mean by that is that if this case had happened a week ago and you had his ex girlfriend testifying against him, and based on the graphic nature and gruesome nature of the crime, someone was trying to make a point that, well, unless the evidence was 100%, this person is probably innocent, you would actually find that to be quite, a lot of people would argue that's quite a sexist and or misogynistic position. So I came across the tweet behind me, and it has, I think, you can see 300,000 likes, talking about the fact that the family think he's innocent, the DA thinks he's innocent. And after doing some research in the case, essentially that entire tweet is false. So essentially, there appears to be some recency bias working in reverse. Usually, recency bias works the other way around, but it's actually working in his favor in this case, even though he's actually passed on now because he was executed. But if this had happened, much more recently, you'll be hard pressed to find a lot of people, especially women, advocating for the fact that he should actually, or that he is innocent. But the idea that that's been abandoned in this case to kind of protect someone who, clearly has a lot of evidence of violence in his past prior to this, alleged offense. And so again, these are the kind of things that, if this happened much more recently, people will be stating as evidence for the fact that why they're convinced he did do it. You probably see tweets like, oh, people like this can't be reformed after he had, this prior incident and that prior incident. That should have been a sign for them to kind of lock him up forever or just kill him there and then. The fact that they didn't do that meant that, this is why he was able to do what he did. And so more generally, what you're seeing on social media, to my eye anyway, is that there is a shift to the right and people being more conservative when it comes to crime and punishment. Some people in the country, my country, the UK, are talking about bringing back the death penalty, and again, these are the type of crimes they will talk about. They want it back for because this crime is so gruesome and horrific that we just need the death penalty back to kind of teach these people a lesson. But I guess because this case was trending, people seem to react differently to it, and I think that's interesting. Some might say hypocritical, but I don't blame people. If they seem to be adopting a pro anti death penalty position. I know that's a bit of a weird statement to say, but I commend that because I've been against the death penalty for a while, and but for different philosophical reasons. But I guess cases like this are the reasons why we can't be killing people if there's doubt. So I think on that note, I'll leave it there. If you were to ask me, it seems very likely that this man is guilty. Obviously, I don't believe in the death penalty as a matter of principle, so I definitely don't believe we should be killing him or anyone, no matter the crime. That's what the principle is about. If you're someone that's been kind of woken up to, what the death penalty actually means, and maybe whether or not we should be doing it, I think this is a good way to judge it. You know, those things are there for a reason. Even the principle that we should try and find sufficient evidence to convict someone beyond a reasonable doubt. Again, those things kind of go against the mantra of believe all women, or if the case is emotional enough, let's dispel of any notion of trying to find proper evidence. I made some links to Lucy Letby on social media, which got some people quite hot and bothered. But as a principle, we shouldn't have the death penalty for any case, no matter the gruesome nature of it, no matter how horrific it is. It's not something we should be doing. As we shouldn't be in the business of killing people, as a state. And secondly, of course, we shouldn't also be in the business of just believing things. Even if it appears very likely that the evidence is strong, we should be trying to establish guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, because those principles are there to protect everyone. And in this case, it was trendy. People were saying, well, it seems like the evidence is not quite complete, but these same people will be very happy to believe all women because they believe that because of the historic oppression, which I understand, by the way, as a general principle. But again, it shows the inconsistency in that case and just shows why, for everyone's sake, because now we just executed a man who, there's some evidence that suggests that maybe everything wasn't on the up and up. But anyway, on that note, I'll leave it there. Hope you guys enjoyed that, found that interesting and insightful, and I'll speak to you guys on the next update.